In this lesson, we're going to learn how to define and use user variables in JMeter. To do this, we're going to record a search on the OpenCart site using JMeter's recorder. So let's add a recording controller in which we'll record the search, and a test script recorder in which we'll indicate the domain, let's start recording. Let's go to the site and type a search. We're going to search for an iPhone on the site. And once it's finished loading, let's go back to JMeter and stop the recording. Let's order our controllers. So first we load the site and then we do the search. And let's analyze what JMeter generated. We can see that one of the requests is for a photo. We have already seen that all these static requests can be generated by enabling the option retrieve all embedded resources on the primary request. We will only keep these dynamic requests, which are one post and one get method. Let's check that both these requests have their corresponding HTTP header manager. We want to identify where our search item appears in these requests. We can see that in both the search element appears as a URL parameter. We will now introduce the element user-defined variables. This element allows us to define an initial set of variables. To add a new variable, we just click on the Add button. Here we will indicate the name. In our case, we're going to define a search variable. Here we will indicate its value. In this example, it will be iPhone. And we can optionally put a description. So let's go back to our HTTP requests and replace the word iPhone for our search variable. The way in which we use variables in JMeter is by putting the name inside brackets preceded by a $sign. So in this case, we'll put search. We'll do this for the other request too. So let's run the test and we'll verify that during the execution, the variable was replaced by its value. If we check the response codes from the server, we can see that the second request has a 204, no content was found, while the first one got a 200 response code. We will now add a little optimization to our script. If you have a look at all our HTTP requests, we will see that all of them indicate the same server. So we will add an element that will allow us to declare this once, so we don't have to repeat it in every single request. This element is called HTTP request default. So we will add the server here and we will erase it from all the other requests. At the time that the request is processed, if JMeter doesn't find a specified server, it will use the one defined in the HTTP request default element. This will be useful if we have many requests that are made to the same server. As we have seen in previous lessons, we should now add assertions to all our requests. Let's go back to the execution to identify which assertions we can add. A validation we can include for the first request is to see that the response includes our search parameter. So let's go to the request and add a response assertion. And we will check that the text response contains our search parameter. It is important to note that the pattern that we're testing in an assertion can be a variable. For our post request, we can add a response code validation. And we will check that it equals 204. Let's clear the execution panel and run the test again. So you can see that all the assertions pass. Note that all the requests have green ticks on them. And the variable was replaced by its value again. Let's now change our search parameter by replacing a variable search with MacBook. And let's run the test again. We can see that the variable was replaced by its new value and the execution was successful. Going back to the user-defined variables element, we can see that we can add as many variables as we want and we can also delete them. So now we learned how easy it is to use variables in JMeter.